Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar, Transforming Your Recruitment, Streamlining Your Hiring and Boosting Efficiency. My name is Courtney Bigham. I am hosting, but the wonderful Lindsay Strong will be your hostess with the mostest to guide you through how to make your hiring simpler and easier. So, Lindsay, take it away.
Okay, thank you. Welcome everyone to our webinar today on the topic of transforming your recruitment, streamlining hiring and boosting efficiency. So let's jump right in. First, if anyone has any questions as we go through today's presentation, please put them into the GoToMeeting chat and we'll either answer as we go or we'll do that all at the end of today's webinar. And today we want to talk about how you can do the following things. So making hiring effortless. We know from our decades of experience that hiring can be difficult at times. We want to give you the tools to automate and make it effortless, or at least more efficient for you. We want to show you how you can create an excellent hiring experience for your company, why the candidate experience is important to your brand, and why internal hiring is just as important as external. We'll also discuss customizing your recruitment workflow and automating your onboarding. So first, I wanted to share this survey with you. Sage asked HR leaders earlier this year what they're spending most of their time on these days and what's most important to them. As you can see on the screen, maybe not that much of a surprise, the top area HR teams are spending their time on is attracting talent at 58%, said that was a priority. Additionally, third on the list here, retaining talent was also a very high priority, and they're absolutely linked together. Employee retention is just as important as attracting new talent. So we're going to pull up our first poll of the day. Courtney, if you wouldn't mind. So this is what's most important to you. What do you spend the most time on? So attracting new talent, managing employee performance, retaining talent, strategic planning, or something else. And we'll just give that a minute for Courtney to let the results come in, and then we'll share that with you. Okay, so your participation is always appreciated. Thank you very much for voting. All right. All right, and unfortunately, I can't see the poll results, Courtney. Is that something you can share?
Should be up on, let me check mine. 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
So the attracting talent was the runaway favorite at 60%, followed by strategic planning and other at 20%.
Oh yeah, great. Well, thanks, Courtney. It's not really surprising, is it? 60% voting for attracting new talent. So how do we make that easier for you or effortless? So for many, many years, I'm not going to point out how much, but for many years, I have been doing product demonstrations of iRecruit for Sage HRMS. Now, every company is unique. Every company has their own needs that need to be met. But a lot of the time, I hear the same issues and concerns over and over again. And these concerns are usually rooted in company visibility. So getting in front of the desired candidates, attracting enough of the right candidates. And I've had recruiters and HR people tell me how much they're spending on advertising costs for various job boards to try to attract the talent. And one company in Florida, and not naming and shaming anyone, they told me that they spend $30,000 a month on advertising, and I was gobsmacked at that number. This is a fairly high-profile company, high profile in their industry anyway. They were actually on the news last week, and I love a challenge. I wondered, what can we do to save them some money, and how do we get that wild number down? And $30,000 a month is just absolutely huge. So they used to call it, back in the day, they called it spray and pray as the method of job posting everywhere that you could and hope for the best, fingers crossed. And you have to be more strategic about where you post these days. And ideally, you go where your candidates are, where the top source of your best talent comes from. And some of that talent could be internal. So let's not forget internal candidates. It's actually easier for your employees to look for jobs elsewhere, believe it or not, than it is to find opportunities at your company. And we'll drop a link to this study from the Harvard Business Review into the chat for you. Gartner analysis reveals that only 51% of candidates are aware of available internal job openings, which are often communicated informally, between employees. And half your employees might not be aware of relevant job openings to them. So awareness is basically step one of recruitment marketing. Another takeaway from this study was that 32% of employees said that they think it's easier to achieve career growth elsewhere. So how do we fix that? Talent comes in, but they feel it's easier to leave your company than to grow in your company, and that's a real problem. So visibility to talent is key. Awareness of job openings is absolutely vital. So once you reach a candidate, whether that's via social media, job boards, or another advertising source, you don't want to scare them away. We want to provide a fantastic candidate experience, starting with the content on your career page. Number one is always making it easy to find on your website, being consistent with your branding, and clearly displaying your company benefits. And when it comes to your employment application, this should be easy for people to complete, quick to apply, and of course, mobile friendly. It's also helpful for you to track the different stages of employment. So that might mean a new applicant, then that applicant is reviewed. Perhaps there's something missing on the application. Perhaps you need a copy of a license, for example. So you can contact that applicant through iRecruit for Sage HRMS and request that they upload a copy of their license. And the candidate simply logs in and they can upload anything that you've requested, any supporting documents. Super simple. And communication is very, very important here. You've probably heard this. The number one pet peeve of candidates and applicants is that they never hear back from the employer after they apply. So that's called ghosting, of course. And it's especially important if you are in a very public facing business and you have customers coming into your facilities, and that might be a grocery store, a coffee shop, a bank, something else that gets a lot of foot traffic. Whatever business you're in, it's important to communicate with your candidates. And this means setting up automatic responses to applicants. This means that setting up follow-up messages such as, we'll be in touch with you, what to expect next, or even consider drip marketing messages. Just save them in your account, messages that you'll use to stay in touch with someone and keep them interested in your company. And with iRecruit for Sage HRMS, you can use built-in email templates or you can use text messaging to reach out to candidates. And what's really interesting, but it might not be a surprise, is that 98% of text messages are opened within 10 minutes of being received versus about 30% for emails. So that is an amazing statistic, but if you think about it, most people already have their cell phones nearby. If it's not in their hand or their pocket, it's very close to them because it's very personal. So just like advertising, you want to meet the candidates where they are. So if they prefer to communicate with you via a cell phone versus email or regular phone, there's a generational divide here, of course. This is the shift that you have to make. And that helps provide that excellent customer service and candidate experience. So again, I'll just remind anyone, if you do have questions as we're going along here, please drop them into the GoToMeeting chat. We've got Danny Martinez on with us today, and he'll be helping answer any questions that you might have. All right, so what does recruiting look like at your company right now? Do you have a defined plan? With iRecruit for Sage HRMS, you can define your steps, track them, always being consistent. From the moment that you have a need to post a job, a request is made. The requests may then go through an approval process if needed. Maybe the CEO approves the job, the department manager approves the job next, and then finally HR approves the job. And once that job goes live, it's shared out on social media, the big three, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and LinkedIn, your internal job board, post out to like Indeed.com or ZipRecruiter to attract applicants. And every step of the way, we're tracking all of those actions, so you always have visibility to your activity. It's all available within the reporting. And as the applications are coming in, we're automatically sending out thank you notices. Remember that communication is super important. And we're including the hiring managers so that they can give you feedback, or if you want, they can manage the candidates themselves. We're initiating background checks integrated through the system seamlessly. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a few minutes. And then when you're ready to hire, we're going into our onboarding phase. It's all consistent. You've got built-in reporting to track your steps and even use an onboarding checklist. Okay, and when it comes to onboarding, your first step, you might start out with sending an offer letter to the candidate. And then when that comes back to you, signed and accepted, you automatically send the other forms that you have as part of your onboarding package. Now, this might varies drastically between companies, but it might include your I-9, it might include a W-4, state tax withholding form, emergency contacts, direct deposit forms. You might want to include your employee handbook and all of the policies that you need new hires to read and sign. And I personally always recommend including a welcome video. That's always a nice touch for your onboarding. And you have all of that in one system, ready to go. It's automated and so easy to use. And the candidate signs in to access the forms, basically the same place where they applied. And again, it's so easy. And I mentioned a few minutes ago about background screening. Again, that part is integrated, it's seamless, it's part of this workflow. And the company that we use, iRecruit for Sage HRMS. It's called Verified First, and they do offer about 60 different background screening options that you can choose from. And that includes all of the usual criminal searches and also a drug screening option. And once you've done everything that you need to do, from posting the job, reviewing the candidates, interviews, notes, offer letters, and you're ready to hire, iRecruit has two-way integration with Sage HRMS. So we're pulling things like your unique job codes, your organization levels, your supervisors, managers, and when you go to hire and you do that onboard process, we're going to transfer around 100 fields from iRecruit directly into Sage HRMS. So if you're hiring lots and lots of people, it's going to save you tons of time on data entry. And then all of your new hires, we should also screen them for WOTC. And let's explain a little bit about what WOTC is. So WOTC, if you're not familiar with WOTC, is the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. It's actually something that we recommend to most for-profit businesses to use as part of their new hire process. And you can include it with iRecruit for Sage HRMS on the applicant tracking side or on the onboarding. And you actually screen new hires with a form called the 8850, which is pre-screening notice and certification request for the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. And this form determines if that new hire will be eligible for a tax credit. And the tax credit will go to you, to the employer, and it can vary between $2,400 to $9,600. And that depends on the category or target group that the employer falls under. And today we're lucky to have Brian Kelly on the call with us. Brian from Cost Management Services, the publisher of iRecruit for Sage HRMS, is a bit of a tax credit expert. So Brian, if you can hear me, can you tell me a little bit more about WOTC?
Yeah, WOTC is a program that is actually an obscure tax credit that most people don't know. If you, from an HR department, are going over and talking to your finance or CFO or president of the company, I bet they probably don't know about the program. But it actually goes back to the Reagan administration back in '84 under the targeted jobs tax credits. And it seems like every legislation and every new group kind of expands the program out. Currently, there's 10 different categories that if you hire those folks, you as an employer will get a federal tax credit, as Lindsay says, anywhere from $2,400 to $9,600, depending upon their eligibility in the category that they're in. So doing this for 20 plus years, we know statistically that 10 to 15% of all your new hires qualify under the WOTC program. So in the simple example we have here, we have 100 people that we hire and we know 10, 15% are going to qualify. That's about $36,000. If you hire 200 people per year, obviously that doubles. So that goes up to the $72,000 range. So the nice thing is there are certain questions that are asked that I think most HR people don't want to perform. So as a third-party service, it's easy for us to ask the questions. You know, are you a member of a family that receives SNAP or TANF? Those types of questions. And if they are, they would qualify under the WOTC tax credit for your corporation. So I look at it, it's a great way to pay for the iRecruit services, but also turn the HR department into a profit center. So that's a little bit about the WOTC program for you. We can obviously go into more detail.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, in a lot of instances, especially if you're hiring a lot of people, WOTC can actually pay for your investment in the ATS. We'll have a little bit more on that in a few minutes. Thank you very much, Brian, for your insight. And if anyone does have any questions about WOTC as we're going through, please drop them into that little chat window and we'll try to address those for you. All right, so continuing with onboarding here, I'll just tell you a little bit more about our partner, Verified First, the background screening partner. And, first, the actual integration is done via a browser extension. So once you add that into your browser, they support all of the different browsers available. It takes about 15 seconds to do, and it's available immediately to use in iRecruit. And Verified First empowers organizations with the confidence that they need to hire the right people by redefining what organizations should experience with their background screening provider. Their customer service is consistently very, very highly rated. And we've actually used it ourselves to do background screening as we've been hiring. And Verified First do offer, I think I mentioned this, over 60 different background screening options, including your standard criminal background checks, drug screening, verifications, civil records, driver records, identity checks, OIG and MedX for healthcare, credit and financial, and more. So also the FCRA compliance is built right in. And all of this minimizes the amount of work that you have to do, minimizes the paperwork for you, streamlines your hiring workflow, and provides that seamless candidate experience for your new hires. So let me ask Courtney if it's time for another poll question.
It sure is. Get excited. All right. Question is, do you currently take advantage of the work opportunity tax credit?
So yes, yes, but we don't use it. No, I've never heard of WotC. I'm interested to see what the results are going to be here. A lot of the time, when I'm doing a demo, I ask people about WotC, and most of the time they've just not heard of it, which is a shame because, as Brian said earlier, it can provide an awful lot of value. Again, $2,400 per qualified new hire. It's amazing. And as Brian also said, about 10 to 15% of the workforce is typically eligible, whether they know it or not. Well, how are the results looking there?
All right, we had about 50% saying, no, we don't use it. And then 33% saying they already knew about it. And then
Awesome.
17% saying, no, we've never heard of it before.
All right, well, I am glad that some people have heard of it. That's always promising. But if you're not using it, if you want to find out more, definitely just let us know. We're happy to give you an overview of that separately to give you all of the details. And again, it doesn't cost you anything. All right, so how to hire 20 people in 30 days. I'm actually going to switch the view of the screen here to try to imagine a scenario here, and we'll give you a kind of a quick overview of potentially hiring. So if you imagine this scenario, so the president of your company, the story, they just got a new contract and you need to hire 20 people as soon as possible to fulfill your contract. So your CEO goes into iRecruit and they want to create a new request to post a job. It's going to look something like this. And that request is going to go to the HR department. And your HR department is going to get your job request approved and published. And once they've done that, they are going to go in and they're going to advertise that job. So they might want to start with Indeed. So they just choose the application, the post to Indeed for free. Monster is available as well. And a ZipRecruiter, you can post for free or you can boost the job for an additional $2.99, very affordable. And ZipRecruiter also, if you do decide to sponsor the job, they're linked with hundreds of different job board sites. If I pull this out, we can see the different logos. There we go. So you can also post to social media using iRecruit with Facebook. Oh, what's our little glitch on the logo there? We've got Twitter or X, and post out to LinkedIn. And you can also use an image if you publish an image with your post. Also, helps with the visibility of any posts that you do. You can also schedule posts outside of iRecruit so that you can, set it and forget it sort of a thing to publish over a week. And then once your job is posted, I'll go back here just to give you an example. We've got our applicants coming in. You can start to see that listed here. And once the job is posted, the applicants are coming in, your hiring managers can get involved as well, and they can start to review the candidates. Let me put in a job here. There we go. So here's our admin assistant. Maybe I want to sort by the candidate's rating, how they were referred. Maybe everybody wants to know desired salary. You can customize all of the fields and the items that you see on this report, but it gives us a quick way to compare all of the different applicants that we have for each job to make it easy for the hiring manager. And then if I go in and look at an applicant profile here, so our applicant, Annie Walker, we can view her resume, you can view the application, whatever they filled out for you online. You can update their candidate status or disposition. And you can also, if you want to, communicate with the applicants, which as I mentioned, it is very important. But if the candidate gives you permission, you can also text with them right here. So you can send them out a quick message. Hey, are you available? Let me pop in a time here, 3 p.m. and I can send that text out. We can continue that conversation on our own phones or through iRecruit if you want, and we'll save a copy of the conversation that you have, so you have that for for audit purposes. And once you're getting through all of that, you can start your background screen. Place the order right here. This comes in with a click of a button. You can either choose a package that you have saved within your account, or you can go ahead and a la carte it here just by selecting the different options that you would like to choose from. You do verifications, even education or motor vehicle records, drug screening as well. So once you invite that candidate, that process is started, that they'll get the approval, which can also go through text, and they'll do the background check, and it comes back remarkably quickly. As I mentioned, we have actually used Verified First ourselves as a customer. For screening our own employees, and it just comes back very, very quickly. And then once you have everything that you need from your candidates, you maybe want to send out an offer letter, which we can do through our iConnect forms here. I might also include WhatsApp screening at this point. And if I assign this, and I'm going to do this very, very quickly, and assign the form. So their offer is actually two parts, where I would go in and I fill in the details for my offer letter first of all. So let me we'll do a start date of the 23rd. We'll do first shift, my office location, my manager name is Sarah, full-time job, and this is an admin job, and please respond by Friday, and we'll submit this form. And that becomes part of our offer letter, which is now available to our applicant. And our applicant has received an email, and that invites her to log back in to the applicant portal. This is where she originally applied. And if she does not have an account, she can create one before she logs back in here. So we're going to log in, and let's see, which job did I apply to there? Let's see, accounting. Oh, I don't see it. What did I do wrong? All right, so I think I applied to the wrong company, but let me get, instead of doing that, what we'll do, I'll go back to Annie Walker here. I'll show you what that form looks like right here. So Annie would log in and complete our offer letter, and she can sign off and accept the offer from here. And once that's done, once the WOTC form has been completed for you, you can start to do all of your other new hire documents if you'd like to. Complete all of that paperwork online and upload their supporting documents. And once all of your paperwork is completed smoothly, we can onboard our new hires directly into your Sage HRMS database. So that includes you filling out the hire date, hours per pay period, hourly rates, and all of that. And then once you're ready, confirm, and that's going to transfer the new hire data from our system over into Sage HRMS for you. So it's super simple. And again, I wanted to keep this part short, so I'm going to head back to our PowerPoint slides here. And what I wanted to show you was just a couple of quotes. We advertise ourselves out on the Society for Human Resources Management website. And we asked some of our customers, can you give us a quote, give us a review? And I wanted to copy these ones. Both Rosalia and Melissa, they've let us know that iRecruit is easy to use. Customer service is great. We love that. Tech support is very responsive. Applicants react positively, and Zach likes how streamlined iRecruit is, and how, again, it's accessible, and they also use our tax credit screening, so that's also very, very lucrative for that particular company. So just a couple of quotes about iRecruit. We do have more on our website if anyone is interested. And let's go on here. And I'm just going to grab a little drink of tea. I apologize. There we go.
Just to let you know, we received the text from Annie Walker and we replied to it. So
oh, you did?
That went through.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that, Brian. And what I want to do is just give you some of the key takeaways for using iRecruit here. So yeah, so what I normally start with is, you have with iRecruit, for Sage HRMS, you do have a custom career center. Employment branding, of course, is always important. You want to be as consistent as possible with your branding. So that is included with the system. You do also have job board integration to the big 3 job boards and also social media. You have built-in reporting. Your hiring managers, they can use a comparative analysis tool to compare applicants if they're having a hard time picking from between each applicant. And of course, you have the applicant tracking component where you're tracking all of the details from when the job gets posted all the way through until when that individual is hired into your HR system. You do have the option of onboarding forms, including the I-9, W-4, and basically you can create an electronic version of just about any type of document that you have. So you take advantage of that, and it absolutely simplifies the process for you. And additionally, of course, grow your talent network by increase your reach by using and integrating social media platforms like especially LinkedIn, and then of course Facebook and Twitter. And I would say, as we're wrapping up here, if you would like more information about iRecruit for Sage HRMS, or to get a quote for your company or set up maybe a one-on-one demo, please contact your Sage business partner or Danny Martinez. His contact information is right here on the screen. We do have one final poll question. Let's get Courtney to set that up for you. All right, and this is our final poll just to see if there's anything that we can help out with. Or if you want to know how to streamline your HR processes, if you want to just have that conversation, just let us know. Okay. All right, how does those results go?
We have everybody about 20 more seconds to put in their answer.
All right. Awesome. All right, thanks for sharing.
So so it looks like onboarding, electronic onboarding and integration to Sage HRMS and payroll are the two winners today.
Okay, yeah, not surprising. If you haven't used electronic onboarding before, of course, we're happy to give you more of a full walkthrough of that so you can ask questions and see if that's going to be a match for you. All right, so thank you for participating. Let's just see if we have any questions from anyone who's on this webinar.
I believe there were one.
If you haven't already, please put your question in the chat. And I do have a couple questions. I think the first one would be for Danny. Danny. Does an applicant need to create an account to be able to apply for a position?
So I think that would be more Lindsay. Go ahead and you can answer that.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Thanks, Danny. They do not have to create an account for the application. 100% of applicants don't want to create an account when they're first submitting their information to you. So we advise not to require it. Some companies do prefer to require it, so it's really up to you. But my advice is not to require that.
Okay, great. And this question is for Brian. Is WATKey available for Canada?
WATSI is a federal program for the United States, so Canada doesn't have any such laws or policies.
Okay,
So,
great.
the United States.
Okay. And another question is verified first available for Canada?
Yes.
Awesome. Just got a few more questions. Is iRecruit on-premise or native cloud software?
So it is native cloud. So when you access it, it's through a web browser. There's also single sign-on available, brand new with the latest version of Sage HRMS. So, you can access it without actually logging in, which is really cool.
And the next question is, can we use this software as a standalone solution?
You can, yes.
Okay. And one final question, how long and involved is the implementation of iRecruit?
Oh my goodness. It's as long as you want it to be. I typically recommend 1 to 3 weeks for a standard implementation. That includes, a kickoff meeting, the setup meeting, time for you to get to know the software, and it also includes training, your Sage integration, and any customizations that you might need. So about 3 weeks is average. It can take longer, especially during the summer. when we're through the summer, you have a lot of people who take vacations, so that can sometimes stretch things out a little bit. But we work with our customers to make sure it gets done on your schedule. And one of the first questions we typically ask is, when do you want to go live with this? And as long as we have a target date, we'll work backwards from there and make that work for you.
Perfect.
Great.
Lindsay, Brian, it's Danny. My goodness, thank you so much for the brilliant presentation. Glad we asked that last poll. Please, I encourage everyone to reach out to me. This is Danny Martinez. My email address is danny.martinez@sage.com. And please, let's further that conversation regarding that last poll. I see that that is very important. Please don't hesitate to reach out. And I thank everyone for joining today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. We know time is valuable, and you can choose where to spend it. So thank you for spending it with us.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay, have a wonderful day.
Yes, and Kaya, I did see your question. I'm sure Danny will follow up with you after on that question. So have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.